So thank you all for joining. And if you have not followed us on Instagram, please kindly do that. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find that on our bio. There's a link on our bio. So please make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram. Thank you all for joining. All right. So we're all welcome to Voice Up Minds. I think I should just do a recap of what Voice Up Minds is all about. It's a safe community for everyone. We are trying to create a safe space for everyone to be able to be themselves, share their stories, and focus more on their mental health. We are creating and promoting optimal mental health, about depression, every other form of abuses. That's what we're all about. And our main goal is to, like what I actually mentioned, create a safe space, and that's what we are doing. Trying to make everybody share their story in a comfortable way without feeling any kind of way. So we are trying to make sure to create a free therapy access to millions of people. That's our goal, to be able to create accessibility to free therapy for millions of people, pay medical health bills, and so many more. And most importantly, we like to be able to assist people struggling in different areas of your life, financially, business, and so many more. We are all about that. So we're not really going to dig into that tonight. So our main topic tonight is reflecting and focusing on mental health journey. And we have Destiny Villafane in our midst. So please, let's give her a round of applause, because this is really exciting. And I don't even know how to really comprehend this, but I'm really grateful that you're here, that you joined us tonight. Thank you so much, Destiny. And we have Destiny Villafane. She's the CEO to a beauty brand that's Villa Beauty, right?
Yeah, Villa Beauty.
So Villa Beauty. And she's a mental health advocate, and she's a really great person, a lover of God, amazing and very beautiful, as you can see. So
thank you.
We have Akilmi, is a mental health advocate, a graphics designer, a UI UX designer, a biochemist. Is there any other thing you'd like us to add?
No, nothing more. The science laboratory.
Okay. So you guys are welcome. And the most important thing is we want to hear Destiny Villafane's story, how she has gone through depression and mental health journey. And the most surprising thing is that I came across your page on Instagram, and what really took me off, what really made it more important for me to view your page was I noticed that you went through depression from the age of 10. That's been a very long journey. So we'd like to hear from you. How has it been? How were you able to cope with that? How did you cope to this point? And how are you now?
Well, thank you, Jay, for the wonderful introduction. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because when you did message me, because social media now, all these pages, these spam pages, you don't really know who's real or if they're just trying to get you. So when I did see your Instagram, I was just like, oh, this is a great opportunity. And then when we connected and we talked via WhatsApp, I was just like, I would love to share my story with everyone, and hopefully give people hope that, if I can do it, I'm no one special, you can definitely do it as well. So yeah, as Jay mentioned, I have been going through depression since I was 10 years old. It's been on and off. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm recovered. You never really recover from something like that. It's always an ongoing journey that you just have to learn yourself on how different ways to cope with it, which is why I did my YouTube video back in 2020, ways to cope with depression, on my YouTube channel. And I was honestly so nervous, and so for a long time I was ashamed to even share that part of my story, and just share that part of myself with everyone because of being judged. And I think a lot of people feel that way because a lot of people get judged because of the thing. Sorry, it's comments here. Okay, because a lot of the things people will tell them, and words really do hurt people. A lot of people don't understand the certain words they use to someone, especially someone going through a mental health illness, no matter what it is, can really affect them. And I am one of those people where, yeah, I can say, yeah, that doesn't bother me. I'm good. I'm fine. But yeah, like it sticks right here in my subconscious mind. And then like it goes through like a whole circle where it affects me mentally, financially, in my relationships with like everyone in my life. So it really is a full circle. So since I was 10 years old, I started to feel so like emotions and feel sad. And it was more times than less where I would just sit in my room wondering like why I'm even like alive. Why am I here? Like, and it's really sad for a little 10-year-old girl to feel that way. And I honestly felt misunderstood for a long time. I come from a Hispanic background, so I know that you don't really talk about your feelings with your parents. You don't really have a conversation at the dinner table like, well, I'm feeling depressed today, because that just didn't happen. And I know so many people who are joining the live or are on can vouch for that. If they're from that background, they definitely understand where I'm coming from. And for a long time, I just kept it to myself until in school, I actually wrote like it wasn't like a suicidal note, but it was a note that I wrote in like my journal, like for school, for one of the assignments that my teacher caught attention to. And she was just like, this is not okay. You need to see the school psychologist. So I went through that whole thing. I saw a psychologist, and then they recommended me do therapy. So I actually was in therapy from the time I was about, because that took some time. So when I was like 12 until 17, I was in therapy. And it was the government funded until they stopped getting funding. So I had to stop going to therapy. But throughout going to therapy, it really did help me understand how to really cope with my depression and different ways and different things that I can do. And it felt good having someone that has no idea who I am, no idea of my family, and just really listening. And that's really made me realize that this is something I would love to do for other people, and how important mental health really is. And people just like touch on it on the surface, like, yeah, you need to do things for your mental health every day to feel better. But it's way more than that. Like, you go through this every day. Like, it just sticks in your mind. You need to do more things than just like buying something for yourself. Like, that's just so like not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. You need to do more things for yourself every day, consistently, have a routine. And since I was 10 years old, like I was on medications. I mentioned that in my YouTube channel. And I mean, if that works for you as well, then that's great as well. But for me, I wasn't so big on that because I feel, just from personal experience, when I would see like different doctors, I feel like they would try to throw different prescribe me with these different things. And for me, I just didn't believe in that. I felt like it was all more mental, and I didn't need to be like swallowing pills to feel better. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. But going through the journey, and as I grew older, I got into different things as well. Like I did some like network marketing businesses and things like that. And I can tell you that actually made me feel even more depressed, because I lost myself. I truly did lose myself. And I feel like for people who get into things and they've been doing it, or they've been doing the same pattern for such a long time, they truly forget who they are. And I think in 2020, we all had to be home. We all had to sit down and really reflect on ourselves and our life. And I'm sure Jay, and I'm sorry, what was your name again? Oh, I'm horrible with names.
Akinwumi.
I think you just mentioned a short name for us to pronounce.
Akin.
Wait, I couldn't hear you.
Akin, call me Akin.
Aki, is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you guys also went through that as well, as the whole world did during the pandemic. And I realized I was doing things in my life that I was just doing for other people. I wasn't doing it for myself. I was making other people happy, and I'm really like that. And like I have such a big heart. I'm very caring. I want to please everyone else. But I truly lost myself in the process, and I didn't do anything that made me happy. Like I wasn't like I love to work out. I love to cook. I love to bake. I love to do all those things. And I just didn't have time for it. Like I still work like a job, like a regular full-time job. So I was doing that, and I am in school as well. So it was just like an ongoing, it was like a hamster, like just on a little circle thing, just running, running, running. And I wasn't doing anything for myself. And I fell like back into that depression even deeper. And I had to sit down, and I literally have like 2 notebooks here that I was looking through, and I like literally reread the things I wrote down during that time, and just reflecting on like where my mindset was during that time. And I just find it just, I don't like using the word crazy, because like that, I feel like that word is like not a great word to use. But yeah, when I reflect back now, I'm just like, wow, just to see where I was, my mindset, where I was during that time and where I am now, it's definitely a big difference. And I say all the little steps, all the little baby steps is a big accomplishment for me. And I feel like people just bypass that, like little baby steps they take. They're like, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Give yourself a big pat on the back. Get yourself a nice, I don't know, something, Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I'll grab myself a nice little Starbucks or something like that, just to make myself feel good that I did something that made me feel good, and I thought about me first. Like I got my hair done recently just because I wanted to do it, because it made me feel happy. And even buying like nice jewelry and things like that. Well, this ain't nice. This is from like a little cheap store, but I love it. I love things like that. Simple things that I realized just made me happy. And for a long time, I was looking into like materialistic things that was just like, yeah, it looks nice, like in the photo, it looks nice on you, but is that really something that makes you happy? And for me, it wasn't. It's the small things for me that truly made me happy, but I didn't notice that or realize that until I started reflecting back. And also, during that time as well, I wasn't in the greatest space in my relationship. And I'm sure others can go attend to that as well. When you are in such a dark place, like a black hole, I like to call it, you kind of forget about everyone and everything around you. And there was days where like I would just lay in my bed and I just wouldn't want to get up. I would just cry randomly, and like my boyfriend would have no idea. He would think it was something that he did, and I can't, it's so hard to explain how you feel in that moment. And all I wanted to do was cry. Like just all I wanted to do was cry. And it's really on yourself. Like you really have to like motivate yourself to be like, listen, you cried. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out, but you have to get back up. You have to do things again for you. You have to just put some makeup on. Like for women, you put some makeup on, do something with your hair, just do something for yourself, put it on a really cute dress. And actually I reposted a picture from 2020 on one of those days where I just was just feeling so depressed and sad. And I got up and I'm just like, why am I going back into this like circle again? And I changed. I wore something, a cute little summer dress, and I got my hair all out, and like I took pictures because that's something I like to do, take selfies. And I'm sure everyone else can attest to that. They like taking pictures of themselves, and that's something that I did. And simple thing like that, it made me feel so much better. And as I continue on in my journey, I learned, like you learn every day, just like with everything else. And really writing down how I feel really helped me as well a lot. That's why like I'm laughing now, because I'm reading some things that I wrote like this time last year, and I was just like, wow, God, you are real and you are with me every day, every step of the way. Because yeah, I always go to my higher power, because without him I would not be who I am, and be able to even do this, because I would have been like, no, like I can't, like who's gonna listen to me, like my story is really not that important. But it is. Everyone's story is important. Everyone is important. We are all here for a reason. We are all going to make a difference in someone's life, whether we realize it or not. And it just takes that to realize that you are strong and you are powerful. And you really shouldn't like put others down. I mean, like social media is a great thing, but it's also a really bad thing. for me, you know, when I was going through, like, I would say 2019, 2020 is when I was like in a really deep black hole again. And I would just scroll. And scrolling is such a dangerous thing because you see things and you're just like, wow, like my life is just like crap. And that person's life is just like they're living life. They have this, they have that. You start comparing yourself, which is the worst thing to do, to others, because we're all different. Like, I'm different than Jay, and like what I do is not something that she does, and like vice versa. Like, we're different, and that's okay. But you know, if we all can come to a common understanding where we're like this, where we're talking about mental health and how, you know, it is not talked about a lot. And I feel like a lot of people now are understanding that it is important to do things for your mental health. I think recently I saw a reel of people like taking walks, and they're saying, oh, doing something for mental health today. And they're kind of doing it in like a joking way. And I'm just like, well, it's not funny to take a walk for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good to take a walk. It's good to exercise. It's good to do things to make you feel happy, instead of just going through like the rush of like everyday life. You got to slow down sometimes and really just reflect of who you are and just be like, okay, what am I going to do that's going to make me happy today? What is something today that I'm going to do for me that's going to make me happy? No matter how small or big it is, something that will make you happy. And that's literally every day I wake up, and I used to wake up like literally just unhappy. And that's so sad. Like, thinking about it now, it was so sad that I woke up like just feeling unhappy, because it's a blessing to be able to open your eyes. It's a blessing to be able to see a new day, because someone did it. And when I thought of it that way, I was just like, wow, I really am taking life for granted, and even myself for granted. I really need to remind myself every day of who I am. And I actually did life coaching, not me, but I was in life coaching, and there was different things that my life coach told me to do and write standards for my life. So I wrote standards for my life, and I literally read that every day. I have it hung up in my bedroom. I kid you not, I'm looking at it right now, and I literally read that every day just to remind myself of who I am, what my standards are for my life. And it truly helps me every day. And now, like, I'm happy. I'm happy of the person I am and who I'm becoming. And even meeting great people like you guys just through Instagram. And now we're here, boom, kind of fast, but I love it. I love doing this. And this is how I know, like, this is my passion in my life, because being able to hear someone's story, just not talking, just listening, not judging, just hearing, is like the most, like, it's like, how can I say it? It's like the greatest thing you could do for someone. And I never had that. So, which is why I had to learn myself on how I could cope with my feelings and this roller coaster of emotions I would go through. And I literally felt like no one understood me, because they didn't. It's hard to kind of explain these complicated emotions you would feel, because it would be like 1 minute from the next, I'm fine, and then I'm not fine, I'm fine, and then I'm not fine. So it's hard to really express that to someone. But I would say going forward, I look forward to helping people who, you know, go through mental illnesses, because it's such a real thing. And I can't wait to hopefully, you know, do more of these and share more of my experience, even though I'm not going to say much, because I can only say so much. I only have like a few minutes left in 30 minutes. But I'm definitely going to be doing it more. Huh?
You can take your time, actually.
Okay. But I actually am going to be doing more videos on other ways that I was able to cope with depression, and what I'm doing now, like where I am now in my life, that, you know, helps me every day, and the different steps that I do, just, you know, to make me feel better. And yeah, I'm gonna stop there, because I don't know if Jay has a question for me. So I'm gonna stop there.
I don't know if the audience have questions for you. Okay, while we wait for them to drop questions, like, thank you very much, Destiny. Thank you so much. Akumi, do you have questions for her?
No. don't really,
Me, I do. I have just one question for you.
maybe
But
before
before then,
the
I would
end,
just like to recap what you said. You said what?
maybe before the end of the program, maybe I will have one question.
Okay, okay, all right, that's better. But before then, I would like to recap what you just said, how you focused on your mental health journey. First, you mentioned that you focused on doing things that make you happy, like buying new jewelries, making your hair, dress up, take pictures, and that's actually nice. There are a lot of people that actually deprive of or like they deny themselves from enjoying those things, like just because they are unhappy, they don't want to do things that actually makes them happy, like they just lock up in their dark space, they don't make their hair. I actually watched a video about depression, about people going through depression, and it's really caught my attention because they said some people don't even brush their teeth, they don't take their baths, and I'm like, wow, that is really serious. So for you to like break that space and like try to make yourself happy, dress up, make up, make your hair, that's really amazing. I must commend you for that. Thank you so much, Destiny. And the second point you made was like keep a journal, and that's one thing I like to tell people. You keep a journal, like affirmative words, keep things that you want to keep doing daily, and that really helps. And you mentioned the last one, the life standard. That's you mentioned that, right? Yeah, the life standard,
Mm-hmm.
the life standard, and that's really inspire you to keep moving. Told you that you are going to become this and that's really amazing. Thank you so much. So my question, I have actually a lot of questions, but I'm just going to ask one, and that's something I've been through, and I'd like to ask you how you coped with that. During depression, how were you able to cope with people, relationship, like you've been experiencing this since 10 years old? Like, did it hinder you from making friends, from being with people you love? Did it actually block you out? Like for me, for an example, while I was going through depression, I was not really comfortable having relationship with people because I just felt like I'm bringing my burdens to them and it's not really cool. So I just like to stay on my own lane, like I distance myself from people. So I want to know, was it that for you? Were you able to cope? Were you able to relate with people?
That's a great question. And actually for me, I was like that as well. I had a shell, because it's like I couldn't see the light because I was like so deep in the hole, and like my anxiety was just really high too, where I was actually scared to be open, and I guess bring someone like a new face in, um, because I just didn't know like who I was even, honestly. And I was like, no, I don't like people. I literally would wear shades so people would not see me. Like, have these on. I would wear it. It could be pitch black outside, and I would be wearing shades just so no one would talk to me, no one would see me, and it was really sad. And I remember, kind of feel like it was like yesterday, like people just staring at me, like, why is she wearing shades? It's like pitch black outside. And I'm just like, leave me alone. Like, I feel like I was like this, like mentally, like I was just in a box and it was just me. And I didn't want people in. I didn't want to feel any hurt more than I was already feeling. I was just avoiding all of that. And how I learned to like really overcome that. One was honestly just seeking help, like professional help, honestly. I think that's like the first step. And that's all on the person. Everyone's different. I feel like a lot of people don't really believe in that, like therapy, because from comments that I've gotten, I've got called crazy, which I did not like at all. And I would feel so upset that people would think that, doing therapy or even seeking help is a bad thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that I'm going through something and, what I'm doing right now, it's not enough. I need help. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's like the first steps to everything, to going down that path of like, I guess recovery, you can say, for yourself. So that's something that, I mean, it was kind of looked for me because I was young and my teacher told my parents, and then, it was kind of already done for me in that way. But as I got older, I told myself, yeah, I need to do something again. I need to seek help from someone that really knows where I am, that they can relate, they can sit on the other side, they can sit in my shoes and honestly understand how I truly feel. And you know, it's all about like connection as well. When you're seeking for like professional help, you don't have to work with the first person you have like a conversation with. You know, it's truly all up to you. But yeah, I feel like that was a way for me to not wear shades at night, not be afraid to make conversations with people. Because I would be lying if I said I was always like this and the people person. I was not. Like, I would not talk to someone I didn't know. Like, if they weren't family or a close friend of mine, like, I would not talk to you. Like, I would just roll my eyes and just keep walking. Like, that's just how I was. And that sadness turned to anger, which was so dangerous because when I just felt so angry for no reason, like, literally, like health-wise, it was hurting me. Because, like, I would just get so mad for the simplest thing. Like, a pen would drop or a bottle wasn't a certain way, and I would just like freak out, like, why is this like this? And then like I will like literally almost give myself a heart attack because I would just always be in like that attack mode. And it's common for people to feel that way because they just don't know how to express themselves anymore. And for me, growing up, you know, growing up in a household where I did see, you know, violence and etc., it kind of was like natural for me. So I kind of tended towards being angry, turning my sadness into anger, which really made me sit in that box even longer and just avoid people. But just because you feel that way doesn't mean you need to stay there. There's definitely ways to cope with that, cope with anger as well, which I had to work, and I'm still working on, because I can go from 0 to 100 in a couple of minutes, but I learned to just calm myself down, do different things that will make me feel better in a couple of minutes, just like woosah, different things like that that I learned getting the help that I got. But you know, it's definitely, it takes steps, and it's definitely a daily thing. But now I'm not afraid to, you know, have a conversation. Like when I go on vacation and I meet different people, like I'm not afraid to be like, hey, can you take this picture of us? Or would you be able to help me with this? Or do you know where this is? Like I'm not afraid to do those little things. And making new friends, meeting new people, I'm not afraid anymore because I know, like, I don't care what anyone has to say about me. I know that who I am, I'm secure with myself. I know that my story, and I know my story will help others. And for me, that's just like my ultimate goal, honestly, in my life, is just to help others and just to truly inspire others to do better and be better and not just stay where they are. So yeah, that's like my long answer to that question.
All right, thanks so much, Destiny. We're really grateful. Thank you for making us understand that we have to speak up, and therapy is not a bad idea. There are so many people that are scared of therapy, or they see that's not what I need, but that's actually the first step to recovery. So thank you so much, Destiny. So we're going to move to Akewumi, and it's going to be talking about the steps on how to focus on our mental health. So Akewumi,
For that, let me.
we can't hear you very well.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Kinda.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
Can you hear me clearly? Very clear.
Not really clear.
Okay. I have a question for her. Most times when depressed people I I get put online that are depressed, we find out that it's very hard for them to keep out, like to find someone fighting. So I want to know, in your own case, were you able to find someone to find it, like someone you felt like, okay, if you talk to this person, you won't be judged, this person will understand me better. Because most times I think it's very hard for depressed people to find someone to confide in. They always feel that, okay, when they talk to this person, they don't know the outcome of them speaking out. Maybe this person might judge me or might mock me, or might take my another person and turn it into mockery.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I get, I get.
It was hard to hear you a little bit.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me clearly now? Can you hear me clearly?
It's like you have like an echo after you, like every word you say, it sounds like an echo. So it's hard to understand.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Yes.
You can hear me clearly. Okay. What I was saying was that depressed people, they always find it hard to communicate with someone, because they feel like, okay, if they should speak out to this person might end up mocking me or might judge me in one way or the other. So, and which might even increase the level of the depression in that person. So they always get scared of speaking out. So I want to know, in your own case, were you able to find someone to confide in, or you just went through the recovery phase all alone by yourself? And if yes, how easy was it for you to go through the recovery phase on your own, like without finding the need to talk to anybody, just be like, okay, I can do this on my own, then I can do things, I have things that I can do that can, lift my mood, bring me back to recovery. So how easy was it for you to go through all those processes?
So the question was for me, right?
Yes, exactly.
So from what I understood, so how easy was it? So if I had to go through recovery alone, which I did, I didn't have someone to talk to, because no one really understood how I felt, and I always felt like I was being judged. So I honestly just seeked help outside. And when I went through recovery, it was very hard for me, because I mean, there's days where I thought I knew everything, and I thought, like, why am I even doing this? Like, people are gonna think I'm crazy. And I was really thinking of others. Even during that time, I was still thinking of others, and worrying about what other people were even gonna say about me, and not even really worrying about myself in my recovery. So when I decided to really just block everything out, and really take steps, like, honestly, like, what the professionals are telling me I should really try doing in my everyday life. So honestly, doing that, and it was like copy and paste for me. It's just like, once I started doing it and understanding the different ways I can cope with my feelings and my anger, I took baby steps, which is the only thing you can really do, honestly. So every day I did something, that was, brought to me that I could do. Just like I mentioned, like, I made like a board, and I wrote standards for my life, and I wrote down the different things that I believe in, and that, that are who I am, and I would read it every day. That would make me feel better as soon as I wake up. And even waking up, being grateful that I woke up, that was really important as well. I remember reading, I was looking through my notes. I wrote down, because like I mentioned, I do believe in a higher power. So whatever higher power you believe in, I highly suggest you just pray every day. Honestly, I would do that. And I remember I was told to even do like some meditation just to relax my mind early in the morning. Because before I work out, I try to just do that, just like breathe, relax, and just try to take in everything before I start my day. And I remember in the beginning when I did it, it was hard for me to trust, the professionals that were helping me, because I'm just like, well, they're just doing this for a check. And I will never forget, one of the professionals told me, trust me, it's not what you think. It's not the amount. We're not millionaires. We're not making, like, they were just honest with me, and that's really what I love, the honesty. Because for me, like, I'm not a person to like sugarcoat things. I'm a kind of like, I'll tell you how I feel and how it is, but obviously in a nice, respectful way. So they were just honest with me. They're like, you're just gonna go through a roller coaster again if you don't take these steps seriously. You have to be open and trust. And that was so hard for me. And I feel like people who go through depression, like deep depression, it's so hard to trust anyone, even no matter what their title is. And for me, it took time, honestly, to trust the process that I was told to do, and really just give it my all, I guess you can say. And once I started doing that, I started realizing as well, like, people around me that were supposedly there for me and were like friends, really weren't. And those were the people I was thinking about and caring for. And I'm just like, for what? Like they're not even here for me when I need them the most. And I mentioned this in a YouTube video. I'll never forget when I told myself I need help, and I went to the hospital, and I told the nurse or the practitioner, like, I feel like I want to kill myself. I don't want to live anymore. I need help. And I literally broke down and I cried because I had so much things bottled in that I just couldn't take it anymore. And I sincerely didn't want to hurt myself. I just wanted to just find a way. I'm like, I know there's a God there. I just honestly need to do this for myself. Forget everybody else. This one's for me. And yeah, it took me time to be open and honest with the person and myself. Some things I didn't want to like think about, like from because they make you dig deep in your past because everything stems from your childhood. And there's things I just don't want to remember, but you got to talk about it because that's where it stems from as well. So yeah, recovery is not easy, and I'm still going through it, so it's never ending as well. You go through it every day, and when I say the word recovery, it's not like I go to like a rehab or something. Like, we mean like just getting the help for yourself, and everything's virtual now. So just having like, that meeting, if you have a therapist or a life coach or whoever you're talking to that's helping you with your depression or whatever mental health illness you're going through, you make sure you do that. Don't just skip a day because that can be detrimental to you. And then you're going to like fall back into feeling how you feel and then being depressed, and then God knows, what happens. What can happen next. So for me, I mean, I'm a very stubborn person. I can be stubborn sometimes. So I really, and let go of that ego that I had. I had such a big ego. And I'm just like, I don't need this. I don't need to do that. And they're just like, well, then why are you here? And I was like, why am I here? So I really had to do a lot of reflecting, like so much reflecting. And that's when I realized having a pen and a notebook is so important because it helped me express like every day how I would feel. I would just write it down, and like I honestly felt so much better. And that was just one little thing they told me to do that I didn't do in the beginning because I didn't believe that it worked, but it really does work. You just got to do it. There's the steps that they tell you to do. You just really got to do it. So yeah, that's another long answer.
It's okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Destiny. So, Akin, we would like you to talk about the steps on focusing on our mental health.
Okay. Now I'm going to talk about just few tips about how you can keep your mental health balanced. Though the few things I'm going to talk about are not just meant for the depressed minds alone. Like, it's meant for everybody. Just even those that are not being depressed, they have to keep the mental health balance as well. So these tips is actually meant for each and everyone. So firstly, I'm going to talk about exercise because exercise is very important. Because even in the morning, before work, most people would say, okay, they will need to hit the gym before going to work just to get their mind straight, to get ready for the day, which is actually good because it's a therapy on its own, getting yourself ready for the day, keeping your mind straight, hit the gym. Though we are not talking about all this heavyweight exercise. No, not that type. Not like a red class exercise or all this. It's just a light exercise just to keep your body warm, keep your mind straight. So it relieves it regulates emotions when you engage yourself in exercise. Just you can just jog around, just do some lightweight exercise and all that. So secondly, I'm going to talk about just taking a walk. Taking a walk is just it's very good for the body. Though nature's walk is kind of good when you want to put your mind straight. Maybe you want to stay focused on something. So maybe probably your mind is deviated from something, like you're kind of having a depressed mind or a disturbed mind or something. So you can actually go for a walk probably in the morning, or most people have it in the evening time when when the sun is already set, you understand. So most people have it in the evening time. You can just walk down the street, then come back. You have a pet, then you can go along with your pet, you know, just to get your mind straight, to get your emotions balanced as well. So thirdly, I'm going to talk about like getting enough sleep. When you get enough sleep, it also helps in balancing the emotions because most people will have a bad day at work. So as a result of that, maybe somebody said something to them which was very bad or something, and they just got home and started acting up or something. So the best way to to go about that, to make your mind calm, like to keep your emotion balanced, is to get some sleep. Just try and get some sleep, then through that your mind will be balanced, your emotions will be balanced. And most importantly, at night too, make sure you get enough balance, enough sleep. I mean, enough sleep. Try and get enough sleep. All these things, though they are just little things, but they really help when it comes to mental health. Even for the body itself, it really helps, and it really helps in balancing our body, balancing our mental health. So I'm going to talk about listening to music, which is the fourth point, though I'm going to talk about just five, because I feel we're still going to have a program to talk about things to do, like helpful tips for keeping our mental health balanced. So I believe we are still going to talk about that, so we are going to elaborate more on that. So this one I'm talking about now is just a chapter of this program. So I'm just trying to shape this in so that most people that are here would know what to do when depression starts to set in, maybe at the early stage, maybe when they are noticing something, maybe their mind is not really going straight or something. So they would know what to do, to keep their mind straight. So fourthly, I'm going to talk about listening to music. Just like me, I like listening to music. Most times that I feel bad, or I feel like unhappy with myself, I just look for a meaningful music on my playlist, then start listening to it. Most times, even in the house, I use my earpiece, just because I just want the music to communicate with me. So through that, I take a lot of things off my mind, even naturally, even unknowingly. So many things just move out of my mind, you know, since that music is communicating with me. So it keeps my mind calm. My mind, it keeps it calm. So listening to music really helps. When you listen to music, it helps a lot. So, and the last point I'm going to talk about, socializing. Socializing is really good because most times I notice something about like depressed people, like they don't really go out, they don't socialize because they feel scared. They feel like, okay, what if I go out there and this person say this person say this, or they talk about me or something. So, and which is really good to go out. When you go out there, when you see things, you see people, even without you talking, but just being out there, seeing things happening, seeing people, a lot of things will bothering you will go off your mind. When you see something I'm very sure that when you go out there where people are, you see things that would excite you, and such things has a higher percentage of making you laugh. And when you laugh, it's also part of the healthy things that has to be done for your mental health to be balanced. Because all these things release emotions, it balances emotions, like it regulates emotions. So whatever the person might be passing through at that particular time, when you go out, when you socialize with people, when you meet people, and through that you can even find someone reasonable to confide in. Someone that would be ready to listen to you, to hear your complaints. So it's really good. So these are the five things I'm going to talk about for now. Maybe um some other time we are going to have an elaborate talk about the helpful tips on to keep our mental health balanced. So this is where I'm going to stop. And thank you everyone for joining us. I'm saying a big thank you, and thank you Destiny for accepting our call to be part of this life experience series. I'm really happy that you're here. I'm very happy. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you so much, Akumi. Thank you so much. I'm just going to recap everything that we've talked about tonight for those that are just joining us. Okay, so we have Destiny Villafane all the way from New Jersey, USA. And she talked about life experiences. She has struggled with depression from the age of 10, and how our class teacher found out. Well, I think you wrote a letter in your book, a suicidal note, not just a suicidal note, something like that related to it. She wrote a note in her book relating to how she was feeling, and her teacher found out about it and connected her to a therapist, and that was how her journey to focusing on mental health started. And she mentioned a few points on how she helped herself focus on her mental health. She talked about doing things that makes you happy, keep a journal, and life standard that reminds her about what she's going to become, about the great person that she is, and also take a walk, do great things for yourself, and all of that. So we talked about focusing on your mental health journey by Akinwumi, and he mentioned just 5 points. And he talked about exercising, not just heavy exercise. You can do little exercise that can just keep your mind and emotions at state. He talked about taking a walk in the morning or in the evening, just to keep your emotions and mind at state too. Talk about getting enough sleep. Make sure that we sleep well. You also mentioned listening to music. You can create your favorite playlist, listen to music at every convenient time that you get, and socializing. Make sure that you go out, meet with people. Don't just keep to yourself. Don't just stay indoor. Go out there, meet with people, socialize, talk to people, and you can even find someone that you can confide in. So thank you so much, Destiny and Akumi. Thank you so much. We're super grateful for having you guys. I don't know if you have anything to mention or say to people watching.
Was that for me or was that for? No, I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for reaching out. This is definitely like an honor to just be, sharing my story. I'm very grateful for you and for your organization, your nonprofit, and I pray that people, just take their mental health more seriously and do things for themselves, and honestly, just do things that they like. Like for me, last year I created Villa Beauty because I'm just like, I need to do something for myself. I need to have something of my own that makes me feel even better about myself. And that's when I was like, what are things that I like to do, or what are things that I like to use, and things like that. So that's when Villa Beauty was born, because I love like lip balm and lip gloss and lip balm. So that's honestly the two things that I just sell. I'm gonna make it all at home, and each of them have a Bible verse on it. So that's what makes it so special and so different, so unique. Because honestly, reading those different verses honestly helps me say like this strong, powerful woman that I know I am. So yeah, and it's kind of a daily reminder as well. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. And I know this is not the last of me doing these IG lives. So everyone on my feed, get used to seeing my face more. And thank you both again.
Thanks so much, Destiny. Akil, is there any other thing you'd like to add?
Nothing really, just to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We'd love to see you more on this platform, see you more joining us on this platform, and we'll be very happy to have you again and again. And thank you again, Destiny, for joining us. I hope when next we call, you will join us again. And thank you, everyone. Thank you.
So, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of VOMs Live Experience Series Episode 2. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you all. Thank you. So, that's it. So, bye, Destiny. Bye, Akil.
Bye.